Hello everyone, and welcome to my FMOD tutorials. After participating in the Global Game Jam at the start of the year, I saw that there is a big demand for FMOD Unity integration tutorials. I've been working with Wise previously, and I made a set of tutorials with Wise and Unity integration, and got some great feedback on that, and that was really helpful for people. So I hope I can help some more with some FMOD tutorials. What we'll be looking in those tutorials is basic integration, and FMOD actually works with Unity Free. So I'm gonna use Unity Free. I'm gonna launch Unity here. Yeah, this is a project I'm currently involved in. As you can see, I'm using FMOD as well. So FMOD works with Unity Free, but only with an Android and iOS build. So we're gonna create a new Unity project. Let's go to projects. Let's make a new folder, call this FMOD Unity int. Oh, shit. Unity integ. Yeah, okay. And we don't need any packages for this. So we created a new Unity project, and now let's open up FMOD. And now we will take a quick look of the versions. So I'm using Unity 4.6.1 F1, and my FMOD version is about FMOD Studio 1.05.11. Okay, let's first create the FMOD project. We want to create basically two kinds of events. One event will be a music event, which basically will be a loop, and the other event will be a one-shot sound effects. I won't be going a lot into FMOD because there's a lot of tutorials about how to do things in FMOD. You can get really creative with FMOD. You have to be very creative how you solve a lot of the problems you approach. That's what I noticed working with it. So I have this the sound I made for a game, kind of like an orb death with a lot of delay on it. So we're actually gonna take all of them. Sorry, kill this. We're gonna open our audio bin. I'm gonna take all of those sounds. Where are they? We're gonna take all of those sounds and place them in. Now, also want to create some music, so I have some music stems I did. So I have the like every single layer of the music in a different file. So like I have the bass, drum, and fill, and lead, and they're all in the same length, in the same BPM, and the same loop. So then we're gonna make some music that the layers fade in with parameter. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So let's close the audio bin. So we create a new event. Let's call it shoot, or some other generic name. Let's create a multi-sound here. A multi-sound, basically it's like a sound container that can contain a bunch of sounds. We'll open the audio bin and take all the orb depth sounds inside, and then when we play it, it will randomly pick one of those sounds and play it. Okay, so we have the shooting sound, which will be the sound effects that we're gonna call, and then let's create another event, call this music. Yeah, music. Okay, and in the music, we actually gonna create a parameter. We'll call this music F. We're gonna make this parameter go up to 3. Why? No particular reason, just an arbitrary number. Because actually the default is between 0 and 1, and I kind of want to make the transitions smoother. So it all determines the parameter is actually gonna get input from the game and gonna change the parameter according to input from Unity. So we're gonna use this parameter to fade in and fade out different layers of the music. So we're gonna create some more. We're gonna create some more audio tracks, and this track will be drums. This track will be let's call it bass. This track will be fill, and this track will be lead. So then we're gonna place the fill at the fill. We're gonna place the lead on the lead. We're gonna place the bass on the bass and the drums on the drums. We're gonna take all of those things. Again, I'm sorry, I'm going on the FMOD part a little bit more quickly, because again, that's not the point of this tutorial. This is not an FMOD tutorial. We're gonna loop those sounds so they nicely loop, and we're gonna create some volume automation. The cool thing, you can create any automation you want in FMOD. You can automate almost anything. All the effects, all the knobs that you see, you can automate, which is really nice. It's something I really like. Gonna move it up to 0 dB right here. I'm gonna create here an automation. So no, we're gonna move this here, move this here, here. You notice that I give it between the fades in and fades out a little bit of space. So like when the parameter is here, so both of those layers will play full volume, and this layer will still be at 0 dB. And let's make the last one here. Okay, so now when we play this event, as you can see, you can't hear anything because all the audio tracks are all at 0 dB, and as we go up, the drums kick in, bass kicks in, then the guitar kicks in, and lastly the lead. Yeah, okay, so kind of like a reggae dubstep kind of feel to it. So we have the two events. So we have a one-shot event that's like a sound effect, and we have a music event with a parameter in it. The next thing we need to do is assign those events to banks. Yes, so you can see the banks here. Basically, the banks is a group of events. This is how the game engine will know how to reference those events. It will load up the bank with all the events inside of it, and will know how to play those events and control the parameters inside those events. So let's assign it to the master bank. As you can see now in the bank, so like left click, assign to bank, master bank. As you can see in the banks section, you can see your events inside the master bank. Now the next thing we need to do is to save this project. So usually when I'm working with FMOD, I'm usually saving the project actually inside my Unity project. So I'm gonna go to D projects, Unity into G assets, and gonna create a new folder called FMOD project. Inside this folder, I'm gonna call this FMOD Unity, and it saves the project. And as you can see, we have the project here in our hierarchy inside Unity. The next thing that we need to do inside FMOD is to generate the sound banks. So those the events are actually assigned to this bank, but the banks are not generated yet. So we click on build. Now it builds the banks, and now we also need to export GUIDs. Now GUIDs is a TXT file that references all the events, and references to the sound bank, and also references to all the events inside of it. The GUID files, actually Unity uses those GUID files to access, think about it as pointers that point to each event and point to to parameters. This is how Unity knows which events to go. So very important, those two parts, to build and export GUIDs. No other configuration is needed in FMOD. And actually on the FMOD side, everything is ready. So let's jump into Unity And inside Unity, we will need to download the integration package from the FMOD download section. So go to fmod.org, download, you will come to this page, and here you can see the integration package. So as it downloads, you can see that it's already supporting Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, Android. Tiny little fact that FMOD works with Unity free only in Android development environment. So I'm gonna switch to an Android platform, like Android and iOS, sorry. Actually, to make a PC build or a Mac build or a Linux build, you actually need Unity Pro. It's finished downloading, so we just open the package, decompressing the package. We're gonna import the package into our project, and as you see, when we import the package, we get this new little tab. You need to click on something to make it refresh. So this little tab called FMOD. So inside this tab, we're gonna say import banks, which basically we're gonna import the sound banks. So we're gonna go to our project folder, assets, FMOD project. Because our FMOD project is inside our Unity project, we go to the FMOD project folder, and there's a folder called build inside that. So we double click on build and we just select that folder. As you can see, it recognized the master bank, and the master bank has been added. And also, it also added 2 assets. As you can see, those assets, ignore those errors. It says like, oh, the plugin only supports Unity Pro. It actually works with Android. As you can see here, running integration in basic compatible mode. So this is fine. So we go to FMOD assets and we see our events here. So we have our music event with the parameter that we set inside, and we have our shoot event. We can preview those events inside the editor. So I click play, it plays the sound, and if I click play here and start moving the parameter, it plays the sound and also allows me to control the parameter. Now the next thing, before we start writing any script, start calling any sounds, we have to change on the main camera the audio listener. So the native Unity audio listener, we just disable that, and we put FMOD listener. Now inside FMOD listener, this is actually the script that initializes the engine. It loads all the banks. It loads all the right scripts. If I press play, it also creates an FMOD studio system, and then we can reference this system to call events and to do a lot of actions within FMOD. So this is all done through the FMOD listener. So very important not to forget to attach this listener. Usually, like, you have one listener in the scene. I don't see any reason to have 2 listeners, and I also haven't tried it, and I don't know what will happen. So anyway, I think now we can start writing some scripts. So we'll create a new folder called scripts. Inside this folder, we're gonna create a new script. We're gonna control it. We're gonna say this FMOD controller. Okay, so I have the first thing I'm usually doing is format a document to make it more pleasant to the eye. I have this test that I'm doing to make an engine fully integrated. I see if I can play a sound, if I can stop a sound, and if I can control RTCP. So I think we can start by just playing the sound effect. Okay, so basically we're gonna check for input from the player. So input dot get key. I'm usually using the numpad, so pad, keypad 1. So if I'm pressing keypad 1, I want the sound effect to play. Let's move this here. So there are actually two ways that we can go about it. We can go get the instance of the event and play it, or we can access the FMOD Studio system and play it from here. So this is exactly what we're gonna do. So we're gonna access the FMOD Studio system dot instance. Because it is a singleton, we can access there's only one instance of it in the scene, and play one shot. And this is a parameter that is inside the FMOD Studio System class. And here we need a string that is the path of the FMOD event and the position. So the path, actually the path of the event, we can see it here. This is the path, event, music. So event shot. I forgot one little fact. Inside FMOD, on the master track of those events, there's a 3D panner. 3D panner, this is basically the component that allows the sound to be 3D. If you're making a 3D game, you want a 3D panner, and you probably will want to change its values because the default values can be a little wacky. All depends on the game that you're building. Depends on the proportions of the game. If it's a game in space or a game in a room, so it's all different. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to delete the 3D panner. I'm going to actually use only 2D sounds. So I'm going to delete the 3D panner here. And now, because we changed something in the event, we actually need to rebuild. So we need to build the banks again, export the GUIDs again, and in FMOD here, refresh event list. And we click refresh. You can see that there's a newer bank. We click at it, refresh the bank, and now all those sounds are 2D. You can see here 2D, and before this was 3D. So yeah, one small fact. So play one shot, and as I said, we need to reference it to the path of the event. So this is event dot slash. Did I use the right slash? Yeah, I used the right slash. Shoot. Okay. Now we need to set the position. So the position, usually, like if it's a 2D sound, the position that doesn't really matter. So it will play full volume. Doesn't matter where the sound is instantiated in the world. But if we had the 3D panner on, and if it was a 3D environment, the position is very, very important. So here I'm gonna just use game object transform position. Gonna use the position of this game object wherever this script is gonna be, and I think we can test it now. So we're gonna put our script on our main camera, play the game, and if we press 1, it played. But as you notice that it played it a bunch of times. The sound is playing a bunch of times. That's because I'm using get key and not get key down, which will only play once the key is pressed. Now it's playing once. So get key will fire this as long as the key pressed. So that's why even I'm pressing it once, it's being held down for a couple of frames, and it calls the event each frame. So now we were able to use those sound effects and kind of like launch events, FMOD events in Unity. The next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna launch the music event and control the RTCP inside it. And this is the second way to kind of like use events in FMOD. So in order to do that, we're gonna create a new parameter. We're gonna create a private parameter called event instance. So basically, It's FMOD dot studio dot event instance. This is a class, an FMOD class, that will allow me to save the instance of the event into a variable, so then I can reference it later. So music event. And then we also want to control the RTCP. There is the same kind of like the same idea, fmod.studio.parameter instance, and this will be our music f, our parameter that we set up in fmod. This parameter, so we can cache this parameter into an instance as well. So on start, what we're gonna do, on start, we're gonna say that music event equals fmod studio system dot instance dot get event, and now we need to give it a string, which will be the path of the event. So the same way as we did this, but instead of shoot, it's music. Yep. Again, we can look at the paths of the events here. Yeah. And this is the GUID. This is kind of like the pointers inside that txt file, export GUIDs. So actually you can use both. You can use a path and you can use the GUID. But this doesn't make a lot of sense to humans, so I'm kind of like always using the path because it makes more sense. Now the second thing we want to do is to cache in like the variable music f for it to get the parameter. So actually what we're gonna do, we're gonna create an if music event dot get parameter. So we got the music event here, we got the reference for the music event. Now we can go inside this event, this event instance, and get the parameter instance. So get parameter, the parameter, and now the parameter name, the parameter name as it is here, so music f, and again this is a string, so music f. Now the next thing, this function gets an out, which is a parameter instance, and we want to save the parameter that we get here inside the parameter instance. Now the cool thing about a lot of the fmod functions is that they're actually returning an enum, which is fmod result. So in this if statement, we call the function get parameter from the music event. We get the parameter called music f, and we save it into a parameter instant music f. And this entire function actually returns an enum, so we can check if this enum, if it doesn't equals fmod result dot OK, which is basically the result that we want. If it gives return fmod result dot OK, that means that the function ran successfully and it managed to find this parameter and save it into this parameter instance. But if it's not okay, then we can actually log an error. So we can write debug.error, log error, can't find music f parameter on the event. Let's not say. Okay, so after we have done this, we got the instance of our music event, and now we also got the instance of our parameter. We'll create a new variable, a new private, a float. It will call music f val, which basically will save the value of the parameter. So we will say music f dot get value. So this function actually goes to the parameter and gets the parameter value, and saves it to a float. So the out will be music val. Oh, one small thing I forgot. Oh, I'll just close this. I forgot here. We need to to add out, because this function actually changes a variable. So basically, we finding music f and saving it to the music f variable. Okay, we want to start the music. We want to play the music. So we're gonna play the music using keypad 2, and now we can actually use a shorter function. We can just say music event dot start, and it will start playing the music. And now to control the music, like to increment the value of the parameter, we're gonna use keypad 4, and here we're gonna say music f val, which is our float that we determined here. We're gonna increment it by time dot delta time. So time dot delta time is basically how long did it take to calculate the previous frame. So usually it's 0.2, 0.1. It depends on the frame rate, which allows which allows a really smooth kind of feel to it, especially when it's on the update. And then we want to set the value of our parameters. So again, music f, which is our parameter instance that we did here, dot set value, and want to set the value to our music f val. And basically, so we increment the value and then set the parameter value here. And just for fun, we're gonna print the value. We're gonna print it so we can see it in the console. Now we're gonna do the same thing for keypad 6. Only keypad 6. We're gonna be a minus. So we're gonna turn it down. And the last thing that we will do is we're gonna stop the music. So here we start the music on keypad 2. Keypad 3 will mean stop the music. So again, we go to our music event dot stop, and actually we also need to add here an enum called stop mode. Stop mode has two different variables. It can be all stop immediately, which basically just stop the event immediately, or allow fade out. So if you have any delays on it or any reverb, kind of like allow it to play its tail. Kind of like if you would stop it inside FMOD Studio, you will get a tail. I want it to stop immediately. So I think we are ready to test this. Yeah. Let's go try it out. So I am pressing, okay, let's clear all these errors. So I'm pressing 2, and now I'm incrementing. Because this is get key down, I need to press it each time. This is actually a good place to place it for get key. So as long as it's pressed, it will keep incrementing it. So let's go at it again. Weird, usually doesn't give me all those licensing errors. gonna check that later. So 2. So here we are. So we can play music, we can stop the music, and we can play one-shot sounds. Yeah, so this is basically pretty much it. Pretty basic integration. So we can play sounds, we can stop sounds, and we can control a parameter. Thank you very much for watching, and I really hope this was helpful. So one little thing before I finish this video, I was getting a little bit scared because all the FMOD, oh, you're not using Unity Pro, you're not using Unity Pro, so I made a quick build of this tutorial project to test it on my iPhone, and the only thing I changed is actually I wanted to see if I'm playing sound, so I changed instead of get key, get mouse button down 0. Mouse button down 0 is your left mouse click, which also translates to a touch. When you tap on the screen of your phone, it also works. So I did a quick build, throw this on my Android device, and it worked. So don't worry about those errors. Unity Free works with FMOD, and you can make Android builds or iOS builds. Thank you, and thanks for watching.